68 After Dark. It is our mid-afternoon show, guys. Our mid-afternoon show. We had a little bit of electricity going on in the Rivers Casino, the Philadelphia Sportsbook. Richmond pulled off the upset. 12-seed Richmond picks up a win. Michigan came from behind and knocked off Colorado State. It's been an action-packed afternoon. We still have Gonzaga and Georgia State playing right now. Georgia State is down by 2 in the second half. We will get to that in a little bit. But before we do, we got to talk about those Spiders. RC. You're feeling yourself right now, huh? You're feeling pretty good.
It's nothing to say, man. I'm feeling real good about my bracket. Looks really good. I don't know how you guys' brackets feel. Carter, Greg, I don't know how you guys, brackets going right now, but mine's pretty good. I like my chances right now going forward. I think I'm doing all right.
I lost the initial one.
Really?
But yeah, I lost that one because I thought Iowa would win. But hey, look, Jacob Gilliard, as good as advertised. Controlled the pace of that game, comes off ball screens, finds opportunities for his teammates. Those guys were really, really good. Ended up with 24 on 8 of 15 shooting. Efficient. He's listed at 6 feet. He's not 6 feet. I think that's fair to say. He looked a lot smaller than that playing against Iowa's guards. But, man, quickness, point guard play, and then Golden out on the perimeter facilitating some of those things. It changes the game. They're so hard to guard because every time Iowa would start to make some kind of run, Richmond would just walk the ball up the court, take their time getting in an offense. It was so hard to kind of establish any kind of rhythm if you're a Hawkeye.
One thing that happens when you're a Power 5 school playing against some of these smaller schools, every team in the Big Ten or ACC, some of these bigger schools, they just play their style of defense. You knew Richmond was going to scheme those guys, and they were going to allow guys that couldn't shoot. They were going to dare guys to shoot. They were going to pack up, help out a lot of them, Keegan. But the hardest thing to do is if no one in your league runs Princeton-style offense and you have to guard it with a team that's not defensive-oriented, you're going to struggle. Mm-hmm. And that was the reason why I picked this as an upset, because I know how hard it is. That group has been together all year long, for years. That group has been together for years. So understanding that and knowing that Iowa can score, but I also know they could be had defensively, and that was why I picked Richmond.
So one of the conversations that we were having before we went on air was that Iowa star Keegan Murray, he finished with 21-9, but there was about a 12-minute stretch in the second half when Iowa blew their lead and let Richmond take control of the game where he wasn't as effective. Where does the blame fall for that? Is that Keegan not being aggressive enough? Is that Fran McCaffrey not scheming up enough stuff for him? Or should we just say, hey, Nathan Cahill did a fantastic job keeping him from getting to his spots, keeping him from being able to come off the screens they'd love to put him in? Is it that just Richmond's defense that you have to credit? Or is it all the above, T.O.?
It's a little bit it's a little bit of everything, quite frankly. I thought K.O. was really physical with him. He wasn't letting him turn back around and do some of his fadeaways and these spin moves because he was sitting on one side. And, look, you got to find ways to facilitate offense. When Richmond's making them run, you have to be able to slow the pace down, at least slow down the run and get it to your bucket getter. They weren't able to do that for about a 4 or 5 minute span. I would venture to guess from about 8 minutes to about 3 minutes. The last 3 minutes, I thought Keegan Murray came alive. Became much more aggressive towards the end of the clock, and they need him in order to advance. Now they're not going to because it took him too long to get going.
I just thought they did a great job of, again, we talked about it. They were going to allow him to score and then limit everybody else. He got 15 field goal attempts, so it's not like they weren't giving him the ball. He didn't get shots. I thought the key was limiting the other guys. This is what we talked about. They limited the other guys and said, hey, if he goes for 30, he goes for 30. But the rest of these guys, we can limit these guys, and I think they did. He got it in the post. He always had active hands. And let's say what we want. He's a heck of a player. He's a great player, but he's not the guy you give the ball to on the perimeter and just say, go get me a bucket. He needs the flow of the offense to get himself a rhythm, and I thought Richmond did a great job of just sagging off and denying it and just taking away options.
And that's a big thing. We talked about who would you pick in the top 5. I think his role player potential is really good, Keegan Murray. It's not necessarily the same level of potential that Apollo Banchero has, that a Jabari Smith, somebody that can create on their own.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference there. Does he have size to be able to defend on the perimeter? Yes, but he's not somebody that's going to be able to create his own shot. It hurt them today, and I think his frail build hurt him as well. He just couldn't seem to establish the right kind of post position. He was having to deal a lot further away from the basket than he was typically accustomed to, and that's a credit to Richmond's defense, but their defense off the ball too. They were so physical before he caught it. It made it so difficult for him to turn around and try to create something because he's so far away from the hoop. Credit to Richmond. That's an old team. And like you said, K.O., he was terrific tonight. 14 of 16 from the free throw line. That's an underrated feature of this whole game. Iowa could have gotten 3 free throws towards the end. They could have, but that's a missed call, and you're just going to have to live with those things. You can't leave it in the ref's hands.
Iowa was down 3 in that moment, right?
Can't happen.
Can't happen. Yeah, you got to get that one. One thing I will say, though, when Illinois hosted Iowa, Illinois beat them at home. Chris Murray got fouled on a 3-point attempt in that same kind of situation. I think they were down by 2 at the time, and he missed all 3 of the free throws. So it's not like a guarantee that he would have made those shots. It's not a guarantee that it would have changed that game. Let's turn this thing looking forward a little bit, all right? So Providence knocked off South Dakota State. It wasn't necessarily the most surprising result. Providence was up by 15 at one point in the second half. They almost choked it away. We still got the win, and more importantly, we still got the cover, fellas. That's always a good thing to hear. So Providence now is going to face off with Richmond next Saturday. How does that matchup shake out for the Spiders? Do you think that they're going to be able to do the same things that they did against Iowa? Do you think that is – I mean, you kept talking about that Princeton offense. How do you think that matches up with what Providence wants to do?
I think Providence is built to guard it. I think they have more of a toughness, more of a defensive-minded thing. We worry about Providence scoring. We don't worry about them guarding and defending cuts and defending the ball. So I think this matchup is favorable for – Providence to be successful, but I just didn't like the matchup for Iowa, but I do like it for Providence.
Well, here's the thing, too. How are Nate Watson and Grant Golden going to guard each other? Both are right about the same size. Grant Golden operates completely on the perimeter, but he's 6'10", 255 pounds. Where he brings value is his ability to defend inside on the defensive end, and with his skill on the offensive end, be able to spread you out. I think, that Spider-Man meme where they're kind of looking at each other, they're pointing at each other like – It's a little bit like that, right? Like these teams are built in a similar fashion. You got an ultra-quick point guard. They have Bynum. Durham can get going a little bit whenever he has the ball in his hands. And then you have Gilliard on the other side. This is a team – these are 2 teams both playing really, really well right now. But I think Providence has a little bit more talent as a whole. So I would lean towards Providence in this occasion.
Yeah, and just so everybody is aware, we do have a little bit of a developing situation over here. Gonzaga, well, they just hit a 3. Georgia State went on a 7-0 run. They were up 46-45 with 16 minutes left. Gonzaga answered with a 3. So they have the lead again. This is something that we're going to have to monitor, and good thing I have it up on my laptop screen right here, so we'll be able to watch that thing moving forward. All right. I think we need to talk about Michigan and Colorado State next, probably. Michigan was down by, I think they were down by like 14. Greg, what were they down in the first half?
They were down 15 at one point.
They were down 15 in the first half, cut it to under 10 at halftime, and they were able to make a run in the second half. They won 75-63. They did it without Devontae Jones. They found a way to kind of slow down some of Colorado State's guys. RC, what was your takeaway from Michigan, from this performance, from how they played? Can they put together a run here? I think they get Tennessee in the next round. We'll talk about Tennessee in a second.
I thought – we talked about it. The match was going to be Hunter Dickinson. And early on, they were putting them in ball screens. They were switching. They started driving them, putting them in rotation. They were attacking them. And I thought, on the other end, he didn't get going offensively as early. And once he got going, they did a better job of helping him in the ball screen defense and helping him isolation. They didn't switch as much, I thought, and then got a chance to contest some shots. Colorado State got cold from behind the arc, and then Michigan just pounded them inside. There was no answer. I mean, Hunter Dickinson had 21 and 6, but he was 8 of 10 from the floor, 5 of 5 from the free throw line. If he touched the ball, it was automatic. They had no answer for him, so we knew that. But I thought Colorado would get more shot attempts, and they had good looks. They just didn't make them.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I thought Michigan made their big run whenever Isaiah Stevens got his 4th foul, and he ended up having to sit for 7 or 8 minutes, and then you kind of lose your flow offensively. Colorado State's really good offensively. They have a lot of guys that can make shots. They can space you out. It's just whenever he got his 4th, the momentum started to shift over to Michigan's favor. And one guy that I've kind of pointed to that could be the catalyst, like an extra guy that Michigan really needs to be good, I thought Caleb Houston showed out, hit some big shots during the game. I mean, talked a little trash. I haven't seen it, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't seen it all year. Every time I've watched Michigan play, he hasn't played well. But today, he hits a couple threes in transition. He knocks some in the corner. He is that floor spacer. He showed what he could do, not only at this level but the next level. You got to be a floor spacer. You got to be able to defend. I thought he was terrific. The better he plays, the better chances they have, obviously. But how about Eli Brooks? Plays all 40 minutes today. I mean,
They needed him.
Yeah,
he had to. He couldn't come out.
They had to. I mean, couldn't come out. I thought he was good. 6 assists, only 3 turnovers, which you'd like to
And
toned down a little
while
bit.
we're talking about the guards, you got to give credit to Frankie Collins too.
Yeah, came in, played well,
Yeah.
turned some defense into offense, did some of those things. But one that I was a little bit not disappointed, that's not the right word, but shocked that they didn't go to David Roddy more.
They had matchup with him.
They had matchup issues with him. He's so wide in the post, and he's got such a good touch. Only 11 shots against a Michigan team. That's where you're superior, in my mind, with David Roddy over their 4. You could have attacked that a little bit more, put him in a little bit more space. 5 of 11, he didn't have a bad game, guys, but at the same time, I felt like they could have force-fed him a little bit more towards the end of that game, especially when Michigan was making their run.
If he had made 1 or 2 more threes, I thought it would have been a problem because he was too much of a mismatch for Diabate and those other guys. And then when they put Hunter on him, he was picking and popping, but he wasn't making the shots. So when he started missing those threes, they just were able to rebound the ball, go down, feed Hunter inside, pass the cutters, and Hunter did a really good job of identifying it. But they had no answer for Hunter Dickinson when he got the ball.
The big thing in the second half was that Michigan just they figured something out, and they were able to get buckets whenever they wanted it. And once the Deshaun Thomas, is that his name?
Yeah.
The center for Colorado State. Once those threes stopped going down, then it became a little bit of a different game. All right, the other interesting game that we need to discuss: Memphis knocked off Boise State. T.O., you called this one. You had this one. I think you said they're going to win by double digits. I was like, no way. Boise State's going to find a way to figure it out. Boise State was, what's the nice way to say this? Painful to watch on the offensive end of the floor.
But that's Memphis's defense.
Yeah, that's Memphis defense.
That's Memphis's defense. They are smothering. And here's the thing, too, guys. Like, they played a lot of bodies today. Imani Bates got in there for 3 minutes, knocks down a 3. That's good for his confidence, yada, yada, yada. But this Memphis team, from the start of the second half till about 13 minutes to go in the game, only scored 2 points. They were already up significantly. They were up 19. Mm-hmm. That's what held them together. Their defensive intensity, their length, how they overwhelmed their opponents. I mean, that's what leads Memphis to be, hey, man, they could be a serious problem if Gonzaga's able to hang on this one. They could be a serious problem for this Gonzaga team.
That's where we are right now. We're saying if Gonzaga can hang on.
That's where we're at right
16 seed Georgia State. Rob Lanier, shout out to him.
How about Rob Lanier?
Yeah.
Getting those guys playing right. Hey, Georgia State's a sleeping giant, man. Right in the middle. The campus is right in the middle of Atlanta. Big-time recruiting base. You can get players there. It's just a matter of a 16 seed. I was a little bit shocked, quite frankly, that a team from their league would end up being 16
I don't think he'll
seed.
be there long.
No,
I think he's
so.
that good. I think he's that good.
Well, that other Georgia school, there's an opening there.
That's the rumor.
So, all right. So let's.
What other Georgia school?
Oh, that's
Mike
right.
White just took
Mike
it.
White's there.
Mike White
Mike
just
He
took it.
did just. You right?
Yeah.
Look, it's been a long week.
You got me
It's been a
confused.
long week, okay? It's been a long week. Some of us are a little bit tired, CO. Not all of us got 9 hours of sleep last night, all right?
That Florida school. They've got
Florida
an
school, that's
got
what
an
I was
opening.
talking about, yeah. Florida, Georgia, that's the same program, right? Same thing.
close
All
enough.
SEC.
I got you.
There's 37 jobs open in the SEC right now, all right?
Yeah, that's
I could have
right.
picked any other school to mention, and I would have been fine. Anyway, Memphis, what do you think their ceiling is right now? Assuming that Gonzaga is going to find a way to get this, and they're not going to pull a UVA, and they're going to find a way to get this thing done. What is the Memphis ceiling?
Here's my issue with Memphis playing against a team like Gonzaga, is Gonzaga can score. I'm not convinced that Memphis can score with a lot of consistency. Now, can they defend? Sure. I just don't know that there's going to be a universe wherever you can hold Gonzaga to 53 points like they held Boise State. Those scoring lapses for Memphis are a little bit too long. That's what makes me hesitant. But at the same time, when Drew Timme doesn't play well, that's when teams can capitalize. They have the guy that could guard him in Jalen Duren. It's going to be interesting to see how that all plays through.
Memphis is going to have to make the game ugly. They're going to have to junk it up. It
Yep.
can't be an up and down transition game, fast paced. It can't be in the 80s. It's got to be half court, just defense, just a scrappy game, and just junk it up. If they do that, they got a shot. If not, their ceiling is next round.
I mean, that's
And they have
exactly
to
what
attack the
Georgia State
boards.
is doing right now.
Yeah,
Georgia
yeah.
State's up
Play.
54 to 52 right now.
And the pressure's mounting on it's number one now. The pressure just expecting to roll through.
Yep.
And now you got your hands full with a Georgia State team that's lost it big and still fighting.
Yeah, we call that it's lemon booty time. That's what it is.
Lemon booty.
Tighten it up a little bit, puckering. If
We
you
call
will.
that greasy needle time.
Greasy needle time. Yeah, puckering a little bit. Let me ask you guys.
You know
this.
what greasy needle is, Dagan? Looking at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah, you don't want to know. Don't
I have no
Okay.
idea.
Do not Google it.
And I'm not going to Google it.
Do not Google it. All right, so Tennessee won by roughly 85 points today. North Carolina is up on Marquette 61-33 with 16 minutes left in the second half. Who was more impressive for you? T.O., let's go to you first on this one. North Carolina or Tennessee?
Well, I haven't seen North Carolina is more impressive for the fact that they're beating the dog out of Marquette. I think that's the big part about it. But to be honest with you, I don't know that University of Tennessee could have played any better. I'm sitting here, I'm watching how they're competing. Josiah Jordan James is giving you good minutes. It's a balanced roster right now. They had 5 guys in double figures. Vescovi goes 6 for 8 from 3. They shoot the ball well. Tennessee's going to be a tough out because they guard so well, RC. Like, this is a team that Brandon Huntley-Hatfield has started to figure it out. Like, that's a quality 4-man. 6'10", 235 pounds, like, really skilled. Barnes has thrown him in there, and he's starting to perform. As a result, these guys can really play, and defensively, guys, there's so much length, there's so much athleticism and strength. This Tennessee team can go a long, long way.
If they're going to get this type of shooting out of Josiah James, then I'm penciling them into the Final Four.
Yep.
I mean, we talked about the guards, we talked about Ziegler and Chandler, but if they're going to get this type of offensive production out of Josiah James, then Tennessee's going to be a tough out.
Yeah, I mean, look, with the way that they can defend, when those threes are going down, they become a very, very, very dangerous basketball team. And they fit the 2-point guard criteria.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting to see them go up against Michigan, and assuming they get past Michigan, to see them go up against a team like Villanova, assuming that Villanova can get there. Just because of the way that Villanova can kind of create those mismatches, right? They're not, and Villanova's not afraid to switch into a bad matchup.
Yep, that's true. Here's the whole thing. I think their intensity from a defensive aspect is still the same. I think Tennessee has the personnel to where they can attack those mismatches and score. Where I'm not sure that Villanova, maybe they saw it against Providence with Nate Watson. Maybe they saw it a couple of different times. But Tennessee has multiple guys that can attack matchups. And Kennedy Chandler, I mean, how good has he been lately? I don't have the number. Well, let's see. Today,
13-5.
I had 13-5 and just, I mean, a blistering pace with the basketball in his hands. I mean, he is that kind of special. Change of pace, getting into the lane, pitching out, like really, really good player. That's where the difference is. It's going to be speed at the point guard position for Tennessee, and if you call Gillespie on the other end, if he's able to back him in, it's going to create problems.
I think the only matchup they have is Josiah James got to start on, and that's the only one. They got to take their chances with Kennedy on, with Kennedy Chandler on, Brandon, Justin Moore or somebody else. They cannot have him on Colin Gillespie. He's too small.
I will play devil's advocate then, and I will say that North Carolina is the more impressive team here than Tennessee, simply because they're doing the same thing that Tennessee did to a team that, T.O., on our podcast, I said I thought could make the Final Four.
Marquette? You said that? You did say that?
A month and a half ago, back in January. I said I thought Marquette was a team that can make the Final Four. Now
that didn't work out well.
No, they faded down the stretch pretty hard. They kind of do one thing, and once you figure out how to beat that one thing that they do, they're easy to solve.
Well, they had a hard time guarding Nate Watson during the season. I mean, and nothing against Nate Watson. I think he's a very good player, but Armando Bacot's a different level. I mean, I know he's not the only reason, guys, but at the same time, like, North Carolina's talented. We've said it from the beginning. I still have them in the Elite Eight. It feels pretty nice right now, to be honest with you, and that's a team that could play again in 2 days. Keep playing past the weekend. North Carolina is really, really good.
Yeah, and they're hitting their – I mean, Caleb Love has 6 threes today, right?
Yeah. That's not going to happen all the time.
No, it's not. But I mean, look, R.J. Davis has 7 assists. Armando Bacot already has a double-double. So, your point is spot on. But to me, it's the defensive side of the ball. It's always going to be defense with North Carolina. It's always going to be whether or not they can get stops. Justin Lewis is 1 for 10. Tyler Kolek is 0 for 4. Darren Marcel, 3 for 10. If you're getting 20% shooting out of your 2 stars there, Marcel and Justin Lewis, then I don't think that Marquette really has a chance. And that lead is now 67-33. I think Marquette has officially packed it in. We can probably call that one over. All right. Is there anything else that you guys think was noteworthy from today's early slate of games? I mean, Baylor won as a 1 seed. I don't know how much there is to say there. So let's talk about tonight's games. Let's talk about some of the matchups that we have.
Did we talk just because we have been here for a long time, did we talk about Providence shutting down the 3-ball from South Dakota State?
We did not.
We did not talk about that. Look, how impressive a performance was them. South Dakota State coming in for the year shooting 44% from 3. Providence shut that nonsense down. That was no longer the case. Here's the deal with this Providence team. They fit together. They play hard. They play together. Ed Cooley can manipulate a game just as good as anybody in the country, especially with this roster of guys. I'm interested. This is going to be a coaching matchup for the ages between Richmond and Providence. These guys obviously know how to put their guys in position to score, but just such a balanced attack like it's been all year. And here's the thing, only 66 points and holding South Dakota State to 57. That's a win in and of itself. I'm not sure if Providence gets in an 80 to 85 game that they can win, but if they're able to slug it out and then keep it low scoring, this Providence team can win another game.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. All right, let's talk about some of the games that we have coming up tonight. RC, I'm going to you first on this one. UConn, -6.5. They're taking on New Mexico State, a 5-12 game. We've already seen one 5-12 upset. Are you calling another 5-12 upset? Be careful what you say.
No, I'm not.
Good.
I'm not. I know the company I'm surrounding right now. I've been warned. I've been told I'm getting kicked out if I go the other route. No, I like the Huskies tonight. I think they'll come out.
Why?
I just think they're physically better. I think their guard play is strong. But like I said to you before, my only concern all year long, I know what the numbers are. I know what what the Huskies' averages are with Martin and RJ, all those guys. My concern is in a close game, they just hand the ball off to RJ Cole and just say, hey, win it for us. And I think that's where they get in trouble. So that's my concern against better team. But tonight I think they show up.
Well, here's my thing. It's strength against strength. What does New Mexico State do just as well as anybody in the country? They rebound. What does UConn do just as good as anybody else in the country? They rebound the ball, and they attack the offensive glass. A lot of people are making this the trendy upset pick. I don't see it because it's strength against strength, and UConn's just bigger and more talented in my mind. So expect Sanogo to have a great game. He's going to be able to post up. The size advantage is real. Yeah. I mean, that's a big, strong dude. He's going to be able to score a lot of points.
Yeah, and a lot of what New Mexico State wants to do comes in and around the basket, right? They're not a very good three-point shooting team. They get a lot of stuff done in the paint, and if there's one thing that UConn can do, it's block shots and kind of control the paint a little bit. The one thing I will say, I do think that you can game plan and you can scheme against UConn a little bit easier than other teams in the country. They kind of do what they do, and if you take away what they do well, then they don't really have a counter, so to speak. And I think that Chris Jans is one of the better game planning coaches in college basketball.
Before I sound like an idiot, is Jordan Hawkins going to play or is he done for the season?
He's not done for the season. I don't think we have an official statement on whether or not he is playing today.
Okay, so in my mind, guys, looking at this UConn team moving forward, that fourth scorer is going to be incredibly crucial because sometimes R.J. Cole and Tyrese Martin, they can have trouble. That fourth scorer is so crucial. I think Tyler Pauly, if he's able to knock down shots and give that team that boost, this UConn team can go a long way. It's just a matter of that fourth option hasn't been the most consistent option. Jordan Hawkins could potentially be that guy, but Tyler Pauly, to me, he's crucial. Coming off the bench, knocking down shots, re-energizing the group, that's going to be a major thing for UConn moving forward in this tournament. I think they win this game because, like I said, strength against strength, but their depth in this tournament, how far they go in this tournament is very dependent on how that fourth option works.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's talk about St. Peter's and Kentucky. I have Kentucky winning my national title. T.O., you have Kentucky winning the national title.
I do.
RC,
Final Four.
You have Kentucky in the Final Four. We are all very high on Kentucky. They're going to play for the first time tonight. And I do believe that our producer, Greg Waddell, has wagered on St. Peter's covering the 18 points today. Is that true, Greg?
Very incorrect.
He stopped gambling altogether.
Yeah,
He's done for the day.
The Hawks packed me in.
all right, so let's just talk about Kentucky real quick. Why a national title, T.O.?
When you have a guy that can control everything within 8 feet, I mean, we're talking everything within 8 feet. The only team that they're going to run into with that type of size is going to be Purdue in the Sweet 16 game, and I'm not entirely convinced. Yeah, I'm not
going to run into Purdue.
Well,
They won't.
That's what I'm getting to. I'm not overly. I'm not overly confident that Purdue's going to be able to get to that spot. But from a matchup perspective, I think Zach Edey and Travion Williams could give him some problems. Outside of that, guys, I don't see it. I think that this Kentucky team with Ty Washington back, with Severe Wheeler figuring out how to play with a ball screen that guys are going under, with Gillen Grady playing good basketball, this Kentucky team is making shots.
If he's making shots, that ends up being the difference maker for him.
I got them going to the Final Four, but I think Georgia Tech, because they're going to space their bigs, is going to give them some issues. And I think Virginia Tech is going to space the floor, and with Kiwi Aluma.
See, I'm not the only one that messes it up.
Yeah.
I said Georgia. You said Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
But you weren't wrong.
You don't make fun of him.
It's because he can whoop me. You can't.
But I like that matchup. I think they'll spread them out. But again, I also say he's invaluable to Kentucky, and it's the only concern that I have with Kentucky is if it's, Oscar Tshiebwe gets in foul trouble, what do? Because they can be a little inconsistent with their perimeter guys.
Yeah, they don't really have another big guy.
No.
No.
If it's not Oscar Tshiebwe, then who is it?
Can we throw a shout out to Shaheem Holloway and how good a job he's done at St. Peter's, though, real
Yeah,
quick?
go
He's done
ahead.
a
While
great
we're
job.
here,
Do
what
it.
a tough job. I mean, the spending at St. Peter's is virtually nothing.
Yeah.
And back when I was on staff at Clemson, however long ago, feels like ages ago, but like it was his first year on the job, and you could see just the confidence was starting to build. It was just building. He lets guys go. He lets them play. And it's a team that they're not going to be able to compete today because of
They're just outmatched.
Yeah, they're just outmatched. But good on him. He's brought a lot of money to that school that doesn't have a lot. And
Getting to the tournament is
he's going
going
to
to bring a lot of money.
It's
Yeah.
huge. That's
Yeah.
what I'm.
They
Yeah,
get a win.
exactly
Yeah.
right. And it's a team that they've played hard. They've done a nice job, but they're going to get beaten today. But Shaheem Holloway, a name to watch out for here in the coming weeks. I mean, if things start to domino, right?
I love his comment when he said, when he took the job, everyone's like, it's a bad job. We hear it all the time. It's like, don't take that job. It's a bad job. And he goes there, figures it out, and wins. And credit to him. That's a heck of a job.
Gonzaga has taken an 8-point lead here, and it's 66-58. It looks like they're kind of pulling away, so we're not going to have to sweat this thing out, and it means that probably a lot of our brackets are going to look a little bit better than they would have otherwise. Let's keep it moving here for tonight's action. We have Indiana and St. Mary's. Indiana, the 12 seed, is getting 2.5 points. The money line there is 114. What do you guys stand? I think St. Mary's gets, I think Indiana gets this done.
So do I.
Yeah, I think
Is that you throwing money down?
Yeah,
right
I'm
there?
putting the money down.
Is that you throwing money down right there?
I'm putting the money down on it. I'm doubling down on that one.
I think St. Mary's is really good.
They are.
I do think Indiana's going to win, and the reason is not Trace Jackson Davis. The reason is Xavier Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Like his ability to hold on. It's going to be a Tommy Kuzi, Xavier Johnson matchup. If whoever wins that matchup is going to win that game,
Right.
because you know what you're getting from everybody else. Obviously, Indiana wants to shoot the ball better than what they have, but it's that guy right there, Xavier Johnson. He's such a physical, rugged guard, and he's going to give Kuzi so many problems on the other end. He's been that key cog in their run in the Big Ten tournament. They didn't end up winning it, but they won some games because of his competitiveness, how tough he is, and he's the key to the
Yeah,
Hoosiers.
he's been so good for
Yeah,
like
he
the
has
last 3.5, 4 weeks. He wasn't great in the first 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
No, he wasn't great then. But I do think that they need him to be great in order for them to be able to make a run. And I don't know if like Matthias Toss or any of these other big guys on the Gales can handle Trace Jackson Davis. That dude,
He's a
RC,
dude.
is so explosive.
He's like Sean Kemp.
Easy now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he plays against other college kids like Sean Kemp play. I'm not calling him Sean Kemp, but what I'm saying is he's like that at the college game, like the way he handles it in the post, how he feels, how he plays with leverage, how he runs the floor. He plays with big hands.
You want to handle that one, RC?
Nah, I don't.
Are we
You don't
just-
think
are
that Sean
Are we
Kemp?
just going to let
Sean
that one
Kemp?
go?
No. What are you talking about? The way he plays against college kids. Oh, Carter Elliott's over here piling on too. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
What are you
I
talking
don't even know what
the
to
way
say.
he plays at the college
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
The way he
Who
plays
let
at
it
the college
fly?
level. Look how
We
he
did-
grips the ball
who
and
let
just
it-
rips
who
by
let
and
it
just dunks
fly?
on people. He dunks everything. What does he not dunk this year?
You're comparing him to like the arguably top 3 greatest in-game dunkers of all time.
I'm
And
not
you make-
saying he's over there windmilling and helping dudes up. What I'm saying is how Sean Kemp would get it in the mid-post, turn, and use his quickness to get around bigger players and then dunk. That's
Well,
what he can do.
Okay, but he won't have a bigger player to play against tonight. He'll just be overpowering guys tonight.
He'll be out there looking like Sean Kemp. I'm doubling down.
The one thing I'll say this: the one thing that I am worried about in this matchup for Indiana is that St. Mary's can really control the tempo, and like
Yep.
they do what they want to do, and they play at their pace, and they're not going to let you get into what you want. They're also better defensively than I think people realize, but I think that Indiana should find a way. They're going to be the more talented team.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win. St. Mary's has beaten a lot of teams more talented than them, but I mean,
St. Mary's is higher on Kempom, right?
yeah, significantly.
I mean, they're a
higher
good
than
team. I mean, St. Mary's a good team, and it wouldn't surprise any of us if they won. I
beat
just think,
Gonzaga.
I just think
They beat your
Indiana gets them.
Zags.
Yeah, I think Indiana
Mine?
gets them in a close
Yeah,
one.
they're your Zags.
Yeah, my Zags.
Yeah, they are your Zags. All right, the interesting matchup, the 8-9 game out in the Midwest. Creighton, San Diego State. Creighton's getting 2.5 points. Money line there is plus 118. I want to be on San Diego State. I want to say San Diego State's going to win after watching the Mountain West get completely wrecked in 2 games this year or in this tournament so far. I don't know, RC. I don't know. I feel very uncomfortable.
I'm struggling with this one.
Yeah.
I am. I'm struggling with this
I
one.
think the Mountain West wins one, and it's going to be this one. And it's nothing against Creighton. I like the Blue Jays. I think their young team is going to be a top 20 team in the country coming into next year if they're able to hold on to their pieces. Here's the problem. Those freshman guards, they're still young. Trey Alexander has played great as of late. Andronikashvili has played great as of late. But they're playing against a San Diego State team that defensively, they're the second best defense in the country, or the number one defense in the country. It's one or the other. But I think the matchup is tough for Creighton. Kalkbrenner's obviously been terrific, but San Diego State, if Matt Bradley, Cal transfer, is able to play well and score at a high level, I think they can beat Creighton if they're able to slow down the pace and make those freshmen make decisions. So I think the Mountain West gets one.
I'm still struggling with it.
Are you? I didn't
And
convince you
but
at
if
all.
I had to put the money down, though, I'm still going with Creighton.
Really?
I am. I think the freshman guards have just played well enough all year, and I don't think they're afraid of the moment. And I don't the metrics.
Well, they played well. They played well in the moment. They played really well in the Big East. Like, they've got a lot of young kids.
And
that
they can
They
score.
almost don't know any better.
They can score. Yeah, I mean, they just seem not to be afraid of the moment. I'm a little bit concerned at the metrics when you in that league. I think it's outside of. I mean, the league is strong. I don't want to make it seem that way, but I don't really buy as much of the metrics. You throw that out of the window now in the tournament. It's a totally different game. It hits the reset button. It does give you an idea of what they are. But Creighton runs some great stuff, man, and they're going to score the ball.
Yeah, they do. That's where I've gotten to with it. I think that the Mountain West. I completely changed my tune after seeing those two Mountain West games. I wish I could go back and change my bracket right now. Unfortunately, I cannot. But I mean, seeing how the Mountain West has struggled in some of these games and knowing what Greg McDermott can scheme to get open looks, I think Creighton gets it done.
But if you look at and I brought up the KenPom numbers. You gonna throw money down too?
I might throw down the money.
Like, Creighton's defense has been so good because of Kalkbrenner. They really guard. It's going to be tough. This game might be 155 to 53 or something. This is not going to be a
Producer Dagan loves the under.
He loves the under.
Love the under. Huge fan of the under.
Hey, I'm not listening to anybody on that table right now about
here we
at
go.
the table right
Just
now.
take them all.
I'm getting them off.
Wait. Is the man we had to explain what money line meant to saying?
Yes, I have no clue what it means. I just know I'm not listening to anybody over there. I don't know what it means. I just know who wins. I'm just picking the winner.
3 minutes ago, T.O. said double down, and I almost fell to the floor.
Oh, man. All right, we got 4 more games to get through. We'll see if we can hold it together for the rest of this show. Vermont and Arkansas. Arkansas is only laying 5 points against the American East champions, RC. I know you love your Hogs. Let me ask you this. Is it only because you don't want to disappoint Mama Hog and you're a little bit afraid that she might show up here?
You don't care about Mama Hog's feelings.
No. I do, because I saw the way she came out to Jeff, and I was a little worried about that.
She went hard.
She went at Jeff. I thought she was going to whoop Jeff's ass, to be honest. I'm a little bit concerned
But
about
who doesn't
that.
want to whoop Jeff's ass?
That's true.
But
I think she could.
There's a lot of people in that
I think
club.
she could. Yeah, she can get in line. But she's like at the front of the line.
Yep.
I mean, Vermont's going to space and shoot. I think Arkansas defensively is going to be able to get out and limit their ability to shoot and space the floor, and I don't think they have an answer for guarding. I don't think they'll be able to guard Arkansas.
They haven't played anybody like Arkansas.
No, I think it's a different animal.
Yeah, from a physicality perspective. You've seen kind of what could happen when Providence played South Dakota State. That jump up in competition from an athleticism standpoint is pretty significant. And Vermont, as good as they've been, and they have been good, this Arkansas team with Musselman, they've got the best player on the floor in J.D. Note. They've got Jalen Williams, who's been playing much, much better as of late. It's a team that they're not going to be able to spread you out and knock down a bunch of threes. Like, they're not a great three-point shooting team. They're right at 31%, but they're so physical, they're so tough, they're going to be able to make everything difficult for you in the half court. And Vermont's going to have to really pick up the pace if they're going to be able to keep up with this.
So
that's not necessarily something they love to do.
Let me play devil's advocate on this one for you guys. Vermont is the best defensive rebounding team in college basketball. Number 1. A lot of what Arkansas does is getting to the offensive glass and getting second chance opportunities. And I know they're doing it against the America East instead of the SEC. I get that. But a box out is a box out, and I do think that these guys are well drilled on that too. A lot of what Arkansas does is a product of forcing turnovers, being able to get easy buckets out of forcing those turnovers. And this Vermont team is top 20 nationally in turnover rate. They don't give the ball up, so they're not going to make mistakes. That doesn't mean that they're going to win, but I do think it's the kind of thing where if they get hot, they're dangerous, and they're going to play at a slow enough pace that there's going to be limited enough possessions that they're not going to have to win this game in the 70s.
Okay, so that's all fine and great. And here's my counter to that.
Yeah,
So I'm sitting here and looking at America East Conference
Yes.
defensive rankings.
They're not good.
Maine is 349th.
Maine. Sorry, Sean Paul.
Stony Brook, 323rd. Hartford, 326. New Hampshire, 294. UMBC, 303. They're not going up against an Arkansas-level defense all year in conference. They're the only team in their conference above a $170.
My thing was they dominated the league by, what was it, 23 a game, if I'm not mistaken? What was it? What was the number they won the league by? Average points per game. Was it 20? It was 23 a game or so. More than that. Yeah, they dominated the league, and I just think that's a significant jump up. So the metrics and all the analytics about rebound and everything else, and just throw it out. They're not dominating Arkansas on the glass the way they've dominated that league. I just think it's a significant jump up in competition for those guys. And I'm not saying they won't play well, but there will be no domination on the glass the way they're accustomed to in that league.
Yeah, the one other thing that's concerning for me for Vermont is that a lot of what they do is a result of spacing Ryan Davis out. The guy he's going up against is bigger than him, more athletic than him, better guarding on the perimeter than him, and better at pulling people away from the basket than him. There you go, throwing the money
Throwing
down.
the money down.
As long as
Gotta
you're not
throw
throwing it down
down
on craps, man.
No,
that
I
game is
definitely
dumb.
can't.
I'm giving that up. That game
You
is
started
dumb.
winning.
Yeah, but then I lost it all.
That's on
It's all
you.
gone. I have the chip.
He switched
You
up to the
gotta
wrong
know
guy. He went to the
when
new
to
guy and
hold
didn't
on.
read
I
it.
tried to listen to Carter.
No win,
Carter
fold.
Elliott, can we just
Carter's
get this out
0 for
there?
today, man.
Can we just
Why
go
you
on?
listen
win
to
to
Carter?
walk
He's 0 for.
away.
This was a stack of red
No
chips
win
before.
to
Now look at
run.
this. This is what I got left, thanks to listening to Carter Elliott's advice and his coaching when it comes to. Look at this. Look at that.
No. Just make sure everyone in this room keeps the same exact energy. When I got chips in my hand and I'm bringing the tickets to the kiosk and the money's coming out, and I need RC to actually throw down a bet.
Okay.
I'm tired
All
of
right.
hypotheticals.
All right. I'm gonna go with you.
All right, come on.
I'm gonna go with you afterwards. So we gonna.
All right, let's keep it moving. Next up, we got San Francisco and Murray State. I think Murray State is actually my favorite bet of the day. San Francisco's missing their All-WCC big man. I'm not even going to try to pretend I know how to pronounce his last name. We're just going to go with All-WC center for USF. Murray State's got dudes, man. Tevin Brown, Juice Hill, KJ Williams. I'm all over the Racers.
They're good, and they have shooting all over the place. I like my man Rico White and Mac McMahon. Sign me up, Tim Kaine as well. That's a great coaching staff. I don't know a ton about the San Francisco. I know they started out well and then ended up not so well.
They struggle down the stretch.
But it's going to be interesting to see. I think Murray State is geared to win.
I was a little bit concerned about it, but Rob, you got me convinced. I'm throwing the money down on Murray State when we leave, so I'm going with the.
Yeah,
I think I'm-
when it comes down to it in a tournament, you need difference makers.
Yeah.
Murray State's got 3 of them. The one thing I will say, Jamari Bouye, great player.
Yep.
Great mid-major guard. Khalil Shabazz has been playing great down the stretch. By the way, we got a 22-point game here for Gonzaga. I wish
That took off
I had
quick.
listened to my gut instead of being talked out of it by producer Greg Waddell over there. I wanted to take Gonzaga second half, and he was like, "Nah, don't do it."
Those guys drive those
Why
guys
do you
drive
listen
the
to those
struggle
guys?
bus.
They're like 0 for today. Maybe tomorrow will be better for these guys or tonight.
Hey, you can
Hopefully-
say they're
look.
over. These guys may be over.
They over.
I'm not over.
You're right. You're right.
These guys drive the struggle bus. They don't ride it. They drive it. And it's missing a tire.
All right, let me ask you guys this: Can either San Francisco or Murray State find a way to pick off Kentucky in the second round? Is there any chance of that happening?
I think it's a cool story with Murray State being in the state of Kentucky. I think it's a really cool story. You got to shoot it great, but Kentucky's just got too much.
No, I don't see it being a game.
Yeah, I agree. I'm there too. All right, Akron, UCLA. I know you like the Zips. John Grossi, whatever his name is.
I think it's gross.
It's gross.
Gross?
It's
Pretty
gross.
sure
it's
it's
gross
gross.
at this point. I've narrowed them all down. So it's gross. Look, it's a team that's very similar in styles. 2 very, very good coaches. UCLA just has more talent. It's going to be interesting to see. But I'm telling you, Akron's tough, and UCLA doesn't play a really fast pace, and that leaves you susceptible sometimes to teams that can get hot in a hurry. Look at Virginia when they lost to UMBC a few years ago. Whenever you play slow, you leave yourself vulnerable to keep the game close and then give the other team a shot at the end of the game.
I think UCLA experience will show. You know, this is a team that made a deep run a year ago. I think you'll see that experience, and they better because I got them going to the Elite Eight, so they better figure this out. But no, I think Akron's well coached, but I think their season ends tonight.
It's not looking good. I mean, Akron's defense is ranked really, really low. It's going to be interesting to see. UCLA has so much, but like I said, pace is going to hurt things if you're UCLA. If you want to play in the 60s, you're going to leave yourself vulnerable. That's my only concern. But other than that, they're just a much better team than Akron in general.
March and John, as you're saying, they like peanut butter and jelly. They go together really well. He just turns it on and gets playing his best basketball.
That's my thing, man. Like we haven't seen this team play anywhere near the way that we expect them to play all season long. Between COVID stuff and injuries and missing practice time, like it feels like they've been stuck in second gear. But this is what they've been playing for. Yep. Like it's
almost like great teams sometimes get bored with the regular season because they've already done it. It's like let's just get to the playoffs.
Before. So it's like why am I worried about all this? Like I want to get my shot. The reason I came back to school, I'm Johnny Juzang. I could have gone to the NBA. I probably could be making money on a G League deal right now, right?
Yeah.
I came back to have another shot at winning a national title. Why do you care about winning a Pac-12 title when you already got one of those? So,
Mick shot his extension today, right? Just got a 6-year deal extended to him today. Mick Cronin, yeah.
I think so.
News. I didn't.
Yeah, I thought he did.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Good for him. He leveraged that Louisville job really well.
Well,
how many people got
I'm
paid?
going to say how many.
So many people
got paid off of Chris Mack quitting.
Yeah,
Chris Mack got paid off of it. Bruce Pearl got paid off of it. Andy Enfield got paid off. Mark Turgeon and Chris Mack quitting their jobs got so many people paid.
Good for them.
Except me.
Yeah, I gotta say I didn't get any.
Yeah.
Gave us some content. That's about it.
Yeah, enough to get us into this building so I can go dump money on the craps tables. Thanks, Carter Elliott. All right.
He was winning when I was teaching him, Carter. I'm just throwing that out there.
Seriously, I was. I'm going to have to buy back in.
A lot of strategy.
You're coming with me next time, all right?
A lot of strategy goes on in
Enough of this guy
Carter.
over here. Sleepers media. Should go back to sleep.
His gambling game's asleep. That's the only thing we were seeing.
I want to make this very clear, okay? Our back is against the wall.
Yeah.
We're halfway through the Thursday slate, and we are going to put on a clinic in the second.
Speaking into existence, guys. Speaking into existence.
As long as your second half is better than Iowa's was today, then I think that I'm right. You know what? I'm bought in. That motivated me. I believe it. I believe it. Take it. Put them on.
Are we not going to talk about who ruined the Field of 68 parlay with their pick earlier this morning?
No, we're not.
Boise State money line.
That was a rough one.
I'm just saying.
That was a rough one.
I'm just saying, and we're bringing it up. I feel like we're attacking each other. We need to come together.
You're right. You're right.
We're a team.
You're right.
You're exactly right.
We need to come
You
together.
sound like the guy who just dribbled off his foot. And he's like, hey, man, it's not me.
That late turnover.
It's we. It's we. It's not me. It's we.
I might have dribbled off my foot, but he threw that shit out of bounds two possessions ago.
I got
See how
fouled.
the Field of 68 unravels. We unravel under pressure. We're not going to do that. We need to come together.
Yeah, we do.
We need to come together.
Carter, I take
A lot
it
of
all,
finger pointing.
I take it all back. I will go learn from you at the craps table. You're gonna go catch fire as soon as we get back over there right now.
Carter.
Problem is,
the
star players we got a sprained ankle, or you're like I failed the test, you sprained an ankle, and then we got to rely on these guys to win the parlays.
We got to carry it.
That's it.
You know, you and I got to carry it right now till these guys get going. Did I
Look your
read
ass
that
up there.
Walker won't play?
So he's a game time decision. He's definitely going to be hobbled. I don't think he's going to be 100%, but he did practice this past couple of weeks, so we'll see. But I don't think he'll be 100%. I think we're going to see a lot of A.J. Hogard in this game.
Okay.
Which is a good thing for Michigan State.
Okay.
Hot take. It's a good thing for Michigan State.
Actually,
Hot take.
I'm not mad at that take.
Hot take.
Okay.
We got one more game to talk about tonight. Kansas and Texas Southern. Is there any reason to talk about this?
No.
Other than if we talk about the spread, I mean, I don't.
And RC's cannonballed into this stuff, guys.
Yeah, I know, right?
What is
I'm
the spread?
eager.
Now
Like,
that-
tell
now
me
that
about
we're
it.
here-
Now
that
I'm
we're
all
here,
in
what
it. Yeah,
is it?
yeah.
What
I'm
is
like,
it?
what are we
What is
doing
the
now?
spread?
Hey, what's the spread? Talk to me.
He's going to have a rude awakening when he throws down these bets and every single one of them lose. And now you're going to know what we go through every single day.
Well, now that we're here, what is the spread?
I should probably bring that up. According to our friends over at Bet River Sportsbook, it is 22 points. By the way, for the record, for the people scoring at home, first half unders 4-4 on the day, which means we're due a 6-2 second half of the day. So if you want to jump on that bandwagon, first half unders, we're about to take it over. We're about to bankrupt the casino, bankrupt the sports book. All right, do we have any questions in the chat, guys? Has anything popped up? I haven't asked for anything. If you got any questions,
Yeah, there
fire
are.
away. We
There
got about
was-
5 more minutes before we're going to
There
wrap
was
things
one.
up
Here, let me
here.
go back and find it. It's pretty good, but now I gotta go back. See what I can find. You can talk amongst yourselves while I go find it.
I'm not just sitting
Just
here.
sit here in
I'm sitting here
silence.
wondering about
Why don't
spreads
you?
now.
Yeah, why don't you put yourself on camera
You
while
want
you're
me to-
digging the
want me to
three?
put
The
myself on
people have
camera?
been dying to see
See
Dayton
me?
Hughes. There he is, Diesel.
Yeah, you did hook up. You did want to hook up the producer cam for tonight. So.
Yep, we do have a producer cam for tonight.
Why can't I find this question?
These
Oh,
guys
here
are
we
gonna
go.
be so
Here we
hot
go.
tomorrow.
Here we go. This is obviously looking ahead, but why not? Because we've got nothing else to ask. Do you guys like Murray State if they can get past San Francisco against Kentucky on Saturday?
No,
No.
No, sorry.
That was easy.
I think it's a good. I do think that it is a matchup where Murray State might be able to cover and keep it close. They have enough guys to be able to make a little bit of a run, but I have Kentucky winning the national title for a reason.
Okay, fair enough. Somebody wants to know when Goodman is coming on. He wasn't invited.
No, we
That's-
don't.
that's
There's
simple.
a reason we don't have Goodman here.
He's in Buffalo, right?
No, he's.
No, he just wasn't invited. We don't know where he is. He could be in Buffalo. We don't
We
know.
got a Michigan question.
Uh-oh.
We do? Oh, there it is. Can Michigan beat Tennessee?
I actually think they match up better against Tennessee than they did against. Oh, I just got Greg Waddell's hopes up right there. I think they match up pretty well.
He was. I will say this. Greg was stressing me out a little bit today watching that Michigan game.
No, you can't lose the first game of the tournament as a fan. Otherwise, you're done. Right? Like,
That's true. That's true. I gotta wait till the last game. So the last game of the first 2 days. So
No, I think they match up better with Tennessee than they do with Colorado State. Colorado State just throws a lot of curveballs at you when it comes to Roddy and Stevens, and they handled that. Now, Tennessee is defensively, like Caleb Houston's not going to get those same looks because they're going to communicate at a higher rate. Offensively, Tennessee, if they're able to score it, that's never the issue. I'm going to let Greg go.
I have a question for you, T.O. Can you say something nice about Caleb Houston?
I can't. I've never seen him play well. Here's the thing.
You did
too.
today.
I did. He played well today.
Look, he had
hit a couple
good
shots.
3 minutes. He hit 3 shots that changed the game.
Guys,
And that's
here-
kind of why you have shooters out there, right?
Hey.
Here's the thing.
Did
If
his
you're a
job.
top 15 ranked kid in the country, I'm expecting a little bit more. Like, there was all this hype coming in, and then he doesn't, like, his percentages say he hits shots. But to me, like, every game I've watched,
Can I
he hasn't
give you a
hit
take
shots.
on that? Can I give you a take on
It
that?
must be me.
I feel like the rankings for the group that came in this year were all messed up because nobody got out to see them, right?
Right.
When you
And there was
watch
no
games,
feedback from coaches
no
to these
feedback
guys. That's a
from
big
coaches.
thing,
No
too.
one went out to see them. If you're watching games, you're watching them on live streams in empty arenas that take away the complete vibe of what high school basketball, what Peach Jam should be.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like a lot of these guys, if Caleb Houston, if everybody saw him play as much as we thought he would, and also the other part of it is you lose that kind of development curve, and if you miss a year of evaluating a player, you miss seeing, okay, they went from this to this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that a lot of this year, I'm willing to write off a lot of the rankings. For
He's a
those
good
guys.
player. He needs to be in school longer. That's
does.
just the bottom line.
I will say Tennessee has so many bodies to throw at Hunter Dickinson. You know, so he could, you know, they're going to be able to throw so many and wouldn't miss a beat. You know, they're going to be
Point guard
throwing
play, too.
They're one of the few teams. I mean, say his name, big guy from Tennessee, Uros Plavšić.
Uros Plavšić.
Yeah, there you go. That guy. That guy
got
is
the
one of
accent and everything.
He's one of the few
Uros.
guys in college basketball that is actually bigger than Hunter Dickinson.
Yeah, he's a big
So,
man.
Yeah, they have enough. They have plenty of fouls to throw at him, and there's still questions about whether or not Devontae. Is he playing, Greg? Do we know?
He's supposed to be cleared. Don't know if he will play, but he should be available.
All
Concussion, right?
Yeah, concussion. He's in concussion protocol. All right. Do we have any other
I'm
questions?
keeping it over here. Yeah. Does Kansas have the easiest path to the Final Four now?
Kentucky does.
Okay.
I would argue that's the case, too, just because, like Baylor, the way they're hurt, Kentucky, they're going to run into Murray State or San Francisco in the second, and then it's possible they get Purdue or Virginia Tech or Texas. Are we leaving out Texas?
No.
Not at all.
No. You know why?
Please tell me.
You know who hates Texas?
Chris Beard hates Texas.
Chris Beard. Chris Beard hates his team. Chris Beard hates his team. That's why. No, I think, to me, Kentucky does, just because, I mean, the number one seed in that region is all kinds of banged up. I don't see Purdue getting past the second round. If they do, I would love that matchup for Kentucky. And Kansas, to me, look, I know you're off the bandwagon, but I'm still on the Auburn bandwagon.
No, just
Still there. I can't quit them.
there's something to be said there.
Yeah, even though I do trust Kirk Creason more than Wendell Green, which is
Well,
apparently,
that's
which is
another big thing,
allegedly
too.
a hot take. Allegedly a hot take.
Super hot.
Wait, what did you just say?
It's not me.
Oh.
It's not me. He
it's
says he
Greg.
trusts
Oh,
Wendell
yeah, I know
Green
that.
more
Okay,
than he
never
trusts
mind.
Kirk
I thought I
Creason.
missed something there. All right, never mind. Yeah, I know that.
It's Great.
What?
Great take. Great take.
I agree with him.
You trust Wendell Green more than Kirk Creasy?
Well,
I know what I'm getting.
Thank you.
I know what I'm getting. I mean, I know he's going to take crazy shots, and I want him to. But at least I know that. And I'm not going to put the ball in his hand, and if I don't, I'm going to take it out of his hand. I just want him to be him.
Here's my argument to that. Is I think Kirk Creasy, when he's good, he's making everybody good. When Wendell Green's good, he's only making Wendell Green good. That's a big difference.
I don't know.
He had
I don't know if I
triple-double
agree
against
with that.
Utah. That's kind of where I'm at with that. Like, his good is like
you saw that.
triple-double
You
good.
saw that one game, and you're like, yeah, I'm all in.
Yeah, I'm all in on it.
Dude,
No. But
all.
here's the thing. Here's the thing with it. They're both susceptible to emotion. They both go nuts. Kirk Creasy probably more so. But Kirk Creasy's great is better, in my opinion, is better for a team than Wendell Green's great. Does that make sense?
Yes.
No.
How does that not make sense?
Because they got Jabari Smith on the floor, and we talked about that. And now you guys are going to at me with that before when I said it. He's going to be the best player on the floor. And late.
But if Wendell Green's at his Wendell Greenest, he's not going to pass the ball to Jabari Smithest. So, like, there's an issue there.
When you saw it in the tournament, he cussed him out doing late
I don't
game.
care
Like,
if he cuts
hey,
him out or not. He's got blinders on and earplugs in whenever he's shooting it. He's got Randolph Childress syndrome. Of course,
he's true. That's why I like him. That's why I like him. That's why I like him. He doesn't give a damn. He's shooting it. I love it. That's why I'm on. Listen, hey, Wendell Green, keep shooting it, baby. Keep shooting it.
All right, Greg. I need you to pick a number between 1 and 627. We're going to give
is very
away
important, Greg.
another Top Golf gift card right now. $50. Top Golf.
19.
19.
Ooh, that's towards the top.
I just towards the scroll. Dorman.
Congratulations, Dorman.
Don't call me Doorman. Doorman.
Dorman High School, maybe?
Doorman. So we've given away 2 of the $50 Top Golf gift cards.
Okay.
I think tomorrow afternoon stream, I think we'll give away the tickets. What do you think about that, Dagan?
I'm fine with that. That's fine with
All
me.
right,
You're the
tomorrow-
one that does the giveaways. You're the one that has to read them. So whenever you read them, that's fine.
Yeah, there you go. All right, listen.
Hold on. We have one more question. I want to get this
gifts,
question.
man.
So there's been no
We never get
overtime.
these gifts.
There's
I
been
know.
no overtime games yet today.
Okay.
What game in the late session do you think could be good enough to go to overtime?
We'll pull them up.
We just went through every single.
Ooh.
I know, but I got to still look at them.
Creighton, San Diego State, Indiana, St. Mary's. Those could go to overtime.
I'll say yeah.
Vermont, Arkansas. I think it's San Francisco. I think I think this afternoon slate should be like the 7 o'clock round of games should be really, really good.
St. Mary's, Indiana could.
So no
I think
chance
that-
Texas Southern takes Kansas to overtime tonight.
No.
Who knows,
All right,
man?
I mean, fair enough.
I would say Indiana,
Can't
St.
count
Mary's, or
Tigers.
Creighton, San Diego State.
Remy Martin could be the best player on the floor for both teams. So
Fair enough.
we can see.
Kind of like Wendell Green.
Hold on,
this
Greg.
guy out
Hold on. Say that
guy
into the
out
mic
here.
a little louder there, Greg.
But look,
UConn?
I've already made my peace with the fact that UConn's going to lose in the first round. I'm gonna have to hear
You
it
are
from
full. You're full of crap.
I'm picking him.
No.
He's
No. He's doing the reverse. He does this every time.
Yeah, that's-
You do
He's
this all
going-
the
he's
time.
going-
Oh, they stink.
he's
They
going
stink.
full-
They stink. And then they win, and you're like, oh, they're great. And then they lose, and you're like,
He's a negative
It's the
Nancy.
reverse jinx.
The only thing worse than his attitude when it comes to UConn is Connecticut pizza.
Oh my God! All right.
What's the spread?
This has
Spread
been
on
the
that.
Field of 68.
I agree.
After Dark.
I agree.
Cut the show. This is unbelievable.
Sorry.
this guy. We gotta get these guys out.
Hey, it was a 6.5 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
It was good.
Not that I know what that means, but go ahead.
It was not a 6.5 out of 10.
Talking about
Where are
Connecticut
you
pizza.
getting 6.5 from?
I don't know. I didn't want to give it an even number. And I'm just going off general taste and feel.
Oh,
There you
I'm
go.
done with this guy.
And the
Well,
pizza
listen,
was cold.
That's why. Why would you eat the cold pizza to rate it? You got to eat it.
This
fresh
happens
out
every
the
night,
oven.
guys.
Well, UConn, hey, for those who don't understand, people from Connecticut are weirdly proud of their mediocre pizza. And I have to put you back to where you belong at your mediocre pizza level. 6.5.
Now I have a question.
Sure.
What's the pizza rating in South Carolina?
I mean,
-4.
you're talking about
Connecticut
-4.
pizza. If Connecticut pizza.
The
is
humidity
6.5,
down south makes the cheese better.
Yeah, I roll with that.
Quote that.
I like that.
Quote that somewhere. I need that on a t-shirt. I need
I'ma
we
roll
need to
with
start
that
selling
one.
the cheese is better because of the humidity or
Yeah,
something. down on a
I'm
t-shirt.
gonna roll with that.
You're welcome.
Put that on a T-shirt.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
John
merch
Surratt
store.
not happy in the chat. He's not a fan of the Connecticut pizza.
Stays a
side.
little warmer, a little longer.
John Surratt's upset. John
You upset John Surratt.
Set-
John
The Field of 68.
17-year-old
Legend
John
John
Surratt. You can come find me. I'm just kidding, John. Mediocre pizza, have an ass.
All right, are we done here?
Wrap it up. This has been the Field of 68 After Dark halftime, midday, something or other show. We'll be back. We'll be back at midnight. We'll be on Sirius XM. We'll have a real stream. I'm done with these two.